to Tony's Tenacious Table Talk. You all know how excited I am to be before you again. I'm telling you, our guest today, first of all, our topic is alignment.
Woo, say it again.
Alignment. And you know what? That topic was resonating, as you know, because I shared with you, Tanya.
Yes. Oh, we was going on and on.
Yes, we were. How it resonated within me for quite some time. But just as a reminder to our new viewers that this platform prides itself on delving into the tenacious testimonies in the lives of ordinary people.
Yes.
I consider myself an ordinary person, okay? And so let's just go in.
Let's get in it.
Minister,
Yes.
Reverend Tanya Smith is our guest. And the first thing I want to ask Reverend Tanya is, when you think about the term tenacity, what comes to mind? You know, you can relate it to what our topic is, alignment, and give us your thoughts.
Yeah. The first thing that comes to my mind when I think of the word tenacity is boldness. Boldness and the ability to push. You know, to push through, to push forward, despite. And so that's what I think of when I think of the word tenacious. You know, and just being able to push through despite.
Despite, I like that.
You know, despite. And so after despite, you can have a blank. Because despite could be despite your problem, despite the job, despite relationships, despite any inner turmoil, just that ability to stay on the course, be bold, and push.
Wow.
So that's what I think of when I think of tenacious and tenacity.
Wow. Yeah. See, that's all encompassing.
Yeah.
You know, because you just open us up to challenges. You know, and I know as women that we share the similar challenges because we share similar roles in life.
Yes.
You are now a reverend. You are a wife. You are a mother. You are a student. You know, and I want to say that you are a student of the gospel of Jesus Christ, which I love drew me to you because I've observed your walk, and I could see that you were just doing everything, kind of meshing all the areas of your life in a very bold way.
Gotcha.
Despite is what you said. You guys, you hear that? I want to back up a minute. Reverend Tanya put on the table, on this platform, the word despite. And I just want to set the tone that behind that word despite, she was talking about challenges that I know that you share with both Reverend Tanya and myself. So guess what? Get over it. Let's go back to Reverend Tanya, and you want to hear more from her, that despite. Keep that term in your mind.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, so Reverend Tanya, alignment.
Yeah.
And I'm smiling about that one because you talked about all the challenges and everything, right? And you said, despite, we got to keep pushing forward. So how do you align all of that? How?
Well, that's a good question.
Bring it.
So let me try to paraphrase from the conversation when you had initially called me and asked me, or just flowing with it. But since that time, just kind of thinking about what that means in my life. And so alignment, as you mentioned, as wife, mother, sister, daughter, friend, sorority sister, there's that component, those. Then there is my work. So I'm a family nurse practitioner. So that's that one.
Say that again.
So I'm a family nurse practitioner.
You're a family nurse practitioner.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I not only have one job, but one and a half. So my full-time job.
You don't have me beat. I don't have to name
No, that's right. That's why you tenacious told me.
That's right.
That's it. So my regular job, I work in health policy, and then I see patients part-time. So that's that career focus. Then there is my ministry in school. So right now I am a seminarian at Howard University School of Divinity, working on my master's of divinity. So God has just been, and how it came about is just I never even saw myself. Not to just go off, but I just have to acknowledge.
No, do it. Just go on.
Yes, because I have to acknowledge Reverend Lydia Reed was at a celebration.
Lest we forget, right?
Yes, and I know there are probably people who don't attend Celebration Church, but to those who did not know her, she was just a rock, a great example of a Proverbs 31 and she kind of took me under her wing. Once I, prior to expressing my interest, prior to moving forward with my ministry to preach, and she was just right there with me. And one of the things she told me is that I needed to go back to school. Her words were, "You need to get your papers." Because for women,
sounds like her.
yes, she said, "I'm gonna need you to get your papers."
Oh my goodness!
Because outside of Celebration Church, unfortunately, you may not get the opportunities to preach the way men would because of how women are seen. So, there are still, folks who don't think women should be in the pulpit.
Yeah.
And although clearly that's not the case at Celebration.
Thank you. Thank God.
And
not at Celebration Church.
Indeed.
Where we are members.
Yes.
Happily and with great humble pride. Celebration Church at Columbia. So I needed to let you guys know that.
Yeah, absolutely. So she told me that. So that put the bug in my ear. And it just started to make sense to me. Okay. And then I just had more of a calling to just know more about the word, more about God. So that's it. So I've got these multiple streams of my life, right?
Right.
And so how do I, in terms of alignment, I had to quickly realize that there's no such thing as balance. So there are certain things that always have to stay priority. My God, my husband, my family. And so whenever they have to, I cannot do anything without God. Like that is my rock. I am 500 million% dependent on God for all things. I need my husband. That's my rock. That's my backbone. He is holding me up. He makes sure that I don't fall. He knows me well. They're my kids. I have these, I call them something like adults.
Say that again.
There's something like adults.
Something like adults.
They're in college. My daughter's graduating soon. Praise God in May. My sons are sophomore.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then I'm into this new season with my mom. We lost my dad in 2020.
Okay.
So I'm, helping her, family, whatever. And then, any outside interest. So it's no such thing as balance. It just depends on what ball is more urgent at the time. And so I'm constantly juggling, but I'm juggling with God.
Wow.
I'm juggling. I'm not by myself.
He's at the forefront.
He is at the forefront. And so I think in terms of of a scripture that guides me is Matthew 6:33.
Wow.
Seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all things will be given to you.
Yes.
And if I remember Tony Evans saying this, and this has resonated with me, Dr. Tony Evans, renowned preacher and Bible educator.
Yes.
And he said, how you know that you're walking in righteousness is when you have to make a decision. God always wins.
Ooh.
God always wins when you have to make a decision.
Wow.
So that's how, when you ask me, how do I align? When I'm when I am looking at even the course of the week, I have a task list. But at the same time, I gotta pray.
Always a list, right?
Got a list. I'm a list. I'm a checker off kind of girl.
So am I. Yes,
I need to have that list.
That's it.
But it's this constant thing, God, okay, what would you have me do? I have to stay in constant prayer.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot do this. And then I had to understand that for this season, I'm wired for this.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I used to think, well, how is it? Maybe I couldn't do this.
Couldn't do it then.
You know, this season, God has equipped me with the energy, the awareness of my time. So like, I just, God has really been just like helping me to understand how and what and to when I invest my time.
Wow.
But that is constant prayer, constant, okay, God, what will you have me do for today?
Okay.
Starting off with prayer, constantly. I talk to God, like I remember somebody said, they talk to God as if God is their friend. Like I am literally, God,
you better know it.
What am I cooking today?
I don't know any other way.
What am I doing? Like it is. That's how me and God go. That's just because that's just how I have to. And I'm not trying to sound like a cliche, like the Christian response, but that's truly
real.
That's real.
It's real, and I get that because when you made a real clear point that there's no such thing as balance. I get that because balance is something that we're always striving for.
Yes.
I know for me, balance is something that we're always reaching for. But what I heard and what you said, Reverend Tanya, when you are submitting yourself continually and consistently to the Lord, the one key word that came to my mind is prioritize.
You said it.
Prioritize. There is no way that from hearing you that your days could be ordered, your weeks could be ordered. Your life as a student of divinity right now, being extremely postured in our church and active in our church and being a wife and being a mother and being an executive. You are a professional woman, so you're working 1.5 jobs. I bet it's more than that. but it's no way in the world that you can prioritize that. And I say that because I can relate. Oh my gosh. So kind of reflect on a time when you may have been out of alignment. Maybe a specific time. And I heard you say it happens a lot. But maybe I'm praying and hoping that what can come into your mind, something that rises above all the other scenarios to the point where you want to share with the audiences. Yes.
Okay, so I remember this was like, let's say, okay, what is this? This is 2024. Let's say like 2016, 2015. I really had a problem with overcommitting.
I'm laughing.
Like,
I'm not laughing at you. And you're laughing. We're laughing together.
Yes. Like, I'm the kind of person, I like to help.
Yes.
I like to help. I like to encourage. So if you was like, oh, Tanya, you want to do this? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And wasn't really thinking about all the other things I had on my plate. And I wasn't necessarily doing this. I was doing other things per se. Wasn't necessarily in school at the time.
Okay.
But it was just working, I was definitely doing more ministry at church at the time, doing ministry through my sorority. I was chaplain at the time.
Okay.
So I had...
Where were you chaplain?
Through my sorority, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. So
Zeta Phi Beta Sorority and chaplain.
Right. And so what that meant was that there were, I would give a message at the beginning of each monthly chapter meeting.
Sure.
I would be called to do different prayer meetings or whatever. So, but just because I have a heart for people, if you called me and said, Tanya, can we talk? I mean, yes, I would talk, but I would talk beyond the length of time that I should have.
Okay.
And I was overcommitting myself.
Okay.
And I kept praying, God help me, God help me. And my husband was like, Tanya, what are you doing? And so
does that help me?
Yeah, right. Because he's seeing me because I'm stressed. So if I'm stressed, I'm all like,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I do know.
And he's like, at the end of the day, he's like, I just want to have some peace at night. What are you doing? Why are you like, or I would get myself into things.
Right.
And when it was time to do it, I would feel a little bit anxious about it. I would do it begrudgingly because I had all these other things going on. And it was not that what I was doing, like helping someone is not wrong.
Right.
But you can't help somebody until you help yourself first.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
See.
So, and then I had to get to the root of that.
Wow.
I was like, why am I overcommitting?
Okay.
And it came down to 2 words: people pleasing. People pleasing.
Okay.
So God was really dealing, like I had to deal with that, really do a lot of prayer, self-reflection and awareness, get into practical ways that to help myself with that.
Okay.
So that now it's like I get it. Like as soon as I'm feeling like, because like I said, I like to help people.
Yeah.
But when I know I have all these things on my plate and I haven't really stopped to think about, okay, you want to do this, but can you?
Because you know what you made me think about as well?
Yeah.
Because when we overcommit because of how we're shaped, because of our hearts, I can relate to that. We say yes to many more things than perhaps the Father would want us to say yes to. But because we said yes to way more things than what He intended.
Yes.
I'll speak for myself. We're trying to fit stuff in. We're trying to fit it in. Oh, I can do this. I can do that. And something goes lacking. And usually it's us.
Yes. You have... Listen, I'm about to pass out in this chair.
Look at that camera.
Yes, and yes again.
Amen.
And it cannot be me.
Right.
Like I'm like, my husband needs me, my family needs me, every people need me. I cannot be depriving me, losing sleep, trying to help someone else.
No.
So I had to learn some practical ways to, so I have some things in place that I do.
I'm so glad you're talking about that. Yeah.
I have some really intentional things. So usually when someone asks me, I've been doing this for so long, it's like, okay, hold on, let me just check.
I love it.
So I check my schedule.
Right.
And then I see.
You did that with me.
Yeah, I did. I was like, hold on, let me check.
Oh,
I
yes,
want to do
you did.
I expressed that I wanted to do this.
Yes, you did.
But I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Let me look
check.
at my schedule.
Let me look at my schedule.
And you did it a couple of times.
I did. Yes.
Love it.
Yes. And then I have my husband help me.
Good.
So I'll say, hey, babe, this is what I'm doing. What do you think? Because I have this overcommitment thing, and he's really good about saying, yes, you do, Tanya.
Yes.
So let's talk about. So I'll say, I'm going to him not for permission per se, but to help me see what I don't see. Like he'll say,
you respect his position in your life.
Exactly. So he'll help me. He'll be like, well, Tanya, don't you have? Well, I thought you're doing. Or sometimes he'll say, well, how long is it going to take? Because sometimes I may think. Or he may say, well, ask, what's the time limit? Because sometimes I may think it might take this amount of time. I don't ask that question.
So he probably helps to look at what you're being asked to do in a more realistic way.
Yes.
Because our spouses bring some real essential components to our lives.
Absolutely.
We need them.
Yes.
We need them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you know what I thought about too, Tanya, when you were talking about that you now have some things in place to help realign you. Yeah. Especially during those times because let's face it, chaos can easily set in.
Yes.
Things can become misaligned at any time.
At any time.
So I want to ask you this.
Yeah.
Does any of what you have in place involve self-care?
Absolutely. 510%.
Talk to me.
So
what's happening? What are you doing?
So like I said, checking my calendar.
Okay.
I keep a task list. And the number one thing I do is prioritize rest.
Ooh.
And I have 2 apps.
Hold that right there. Hold that. That is such a phenomenal point that our audience needs to hear. And our guest, Reverend Tanya Smith, said to incorporate alignment and balance and to realign her life's areas when they become in a disarray. She said, what's that key word?
Rest.
Rest. R-E-S-T. We often think sometimes that should be the last thing that we do, but it's the pinnacle of what needs to take place so that we can move on. So again, you guys, remember this. Reverend Smith, Tanya Smith, our guest today, said with regard to alignment, you have to rest.
And that's for
Back
two
to you.
reasons. Yeah, one, because I remember there was this book, I haven't read it, so I was going to read it. It's called Rest is Resistance. And I say that because rest is resistance against this, we're in a society where everything is go, 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 go. You grind.
Yes.
But people die. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I work in healthcare, so I see the repercussions of the grind. People with high blood pressure, diabetes, because you're not, taking care of yourself because of the grind. Going. People passing out, grind.
Right.
No. So, and then my second point is I found that rest gives me acceleration. So meaning that if I get my rest, or if I have prioritized rest, I can do so much more. Like my thinking, I'm processing things a little quicker. Plus, I'm in this phase of my life called perimenopause. Help me, Jesus.
Okay.
That's another conversation. Help me, Jesus. So
Amen.
I some days I wake up, but I have to give myself a certain amount of time to sleep and try to,
lay that body down.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
But rest gives me speed. That's the word.
Wow.
Rest gives, I know it, and I'm really just kind of figuring that out. Rest gives me speed.
Wow.
So I prioritize. I have really, started to prioritize. Now, I don't always do, I mess up from time to time, but I get right back
because
on the
we're
train.
imperfect people.
Yes.
Okay. So,
yes.
Yeah.
So rest is one of those things. Two, I do a weekly check of my calendar.
A weekly check.
A weekly check. Other than my daily task list, I kind of look a week out.
Okay.
And I'm looking at, you got to do this, you got to do this.
Okay.
I block out on my calendar, like when I have, when it's midterms, exams, or I have like perfect example. I have a weekend where I'm at a conference, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I have a exam on that next week. So on the 1 week of the conference, I have on my calendar blocked out. Do not plan any activities.
I love it.
So I do not
what
plan.
A gauge.
Yes.
That sets the barometer.
Yes.
Question.
Yes.
You shared with me last week that you were preparing for your research paper.
Yes.
Did you get?
I did. I finished it. I turned that thing. I'm waiting to hear
you're waiting.
from my instructor, but
Okay.
I turned that in, and that was again. I did the same thing. I'm now that I'm older in school. I cannot wait till the last minute to do a paper. That just is not.
I understand.
That just is I can't do it. So I have to, knowing that about myself, I got to do a little bit,
Wow.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Gets me a long way.
Wow. Wow.
So, or what did I hear a sermon on called The Power of the Little, and how, just doing a little bit gets me a long, even if it's just health. I'm trying to improve my diet.
Like that.
I do a little bit every
day.
What?
I like that, sis, because it's making me reflect too. Because it's like, okay, I want to work on my table talk. I want to go in and sow seeds in the public schools in our county. I want to be the best wife to my husband.
Absolutely.
It's just so many things. I want to be an active and an impactful leader, in our church. But then it's like, how do you do all that?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Power of the little.
Because it doesn't all happen at one time. And I think I shared with my husband once, just in your words, do a little bit in this area. Refer to your list. Do a little bit in that area. Do a little bit in the other area. The next day, a little bit more. And then you look around and it's like, oh my gosh.
I've done exactly.
It gets done.
It gets done.
The works get done.
Yes.
I like that you see too that it makes me realize that you see challenges not as obstacles or anything that make you stand still.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
They're just temporary.
Yes.
And you're like, it's a signal to you.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my gosh, Tanya.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
But I've had to do my work. That didn't come.
You had to work on you.
I had to work on me. I had to work on me, and just really understand that God is in my life, and I'm that He's with me. I'm not by myself. That's what I have to say.
No,
I'm not by myself.
Never alone. And you guys have listened to Reverend Tanya Smith talking about a topic that God resonated within my spirit. And Reverend Tanya and I talked about, not just for this interview, but we talked about it. So you've heard Reverend Tanya give you shares about how she applies it to her personal life, to her professional life, to her life as a student of the gospel right now, a student of a School of Divinity at Howard University, just actively working in our church, and that just across the board. So you know what? I'd like for you, Reverend Tanya, and you do it so well because you do it all the time. This is what you live. is think about it. Take your time. No big deal. It's not rehearsed.
Okay.
But reflect on what you would want to take out of your own spirit, your gut, and deposit into the lives of those ears that are in the audiences about aligning their lives. We know that they can get off course because you confess, you gave a testimony. You get off course, and I agreed with you. I get off course. So what words, tenacious encouragement can we give to our audience to let them know you can do it? Take your time. You can think about it if you want, because I want it to come from Reverend Tanya.
Sure. So what words can I give as a word of encouragement regarding alignment? Okay, I think the first thing, it has to do with the first thing I said, that it's not balance. It's about, I think, operating in excellence. And when I say excellence, excellence is not perfection. And why I say that is excellence is doing the best you can with what you have at the time. So in this season of my life, like, I have these top priorities that I'm doing the best that I can in this season of my life. There may be something else that I'm called to do, but may not be a priority right now. And so how I fit that in may not be as grand as something else, but I'm doing the best that I can at the time with what I have. So that's like an overarching thing. And that, for somebody who is a former perfectionist,
people pleaser,
perfectionist and people pleaser, all the P words. All of the sabotaging people.
Y'all hear this, right?
Yes. That was me. So that gives somebody
growth.
Like me.
Thank God for growth.
Yes. That gives somebody like me grace. So when in terms of, alignment, like, what do you think, what can I say to encourage
grace.
you? Operate in a spirit of excellence, which gives you grace. Then I would also say, again, it's not about balance, but about prioritizing as best as you can. And then I would say the power of the little. Like I said, doing a little bit.
That's strong right there.
Yeah, the power of the little.
Wow.
And then rest, because rest gives you speed.
Wow. Rest gives you speed.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
That's what I would say.
Reverend Tanya has said a mouthful in your summary around today's topic of alignment. Wow. You talked about the power of little. we think about, what does the scripture say? Little becomes much.
Yes.
When you place it
Come on now.
in the master's
Come on,
hands,
you
right? Right? We agree. We're aligned.
Yeah.
That's why we can
Yes.
talk and agree, because the Lord has deposited nuggets in our lives coming from who He is as our Father and our covering, right? And then you talked about how rest gives you increase. Whew. It makes me think about how it fuels a person on.
Yes.
That rest does.
Yes.
Because after you get that rest, you can wake up, and maybe when you lay down the night before, you didn't know how you're going to get things done. But when you wake up refreshed because you've rested, there is just a freshness, a fresh anointing with the innovation and the creative ideas and so forth, right?
Absolutely.
Reverend Tanya, we're going to have you back.
I would love to.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so very, very much, because, when interviewing, time goes by so quickly. But I want you to share with the audience now how you can be reached. What platforms? Your phone number, email, Facebook, whatever. How you want to be addressed.
Sure.
Yes, please.
Yes. Okay, so I'm on Facebook. I am on Instagram. I can also give it to you.
You can give it to me, and I'll make sure it's a part of this phenomenal interview. No worries at all. No worries at all.
But I can give you my email. So
okay.
Let me give you that.
Terrific.
That is Latonya, Letonya, Smith@gmail.com.
This is powerful. We could go on and on and on. But I want you all to make sure that you tune in to the next episode of Tony's Tenacious Table Talk. Reverend Tanya Smith sure has set the platform today. Tony wants you to subscribe, like, and share. You may even want to avail yourself to sharing with me someone else that you would like me to interview on our platform. We like that. So again, it's all about making sure that people, you and everyone else, digs into themselves so that they can propel forward to become their best selves in spite of challenges. Align yourself. Until next time, bye now.
Take care.
Bye now. Stay tenacious, and we'll talk about it.